First of all, Minister, can I thank you for your attendance? It's not often we have a senior minister at this point of a private members' debate, and I'm glad to see you here. And I also want to give you my own personal support in light of the completely unacceptable attacks on your family home. Now, this morning we are discussing the issue of migration, and it's very difficult and it's a very delicate discussion. On one hand, we have those seeking asylum, and they are not a homogenous group. Some are fleeing war and persecution. Others are seeking a better life. They're economic migrants. Others are people trafficked. Others have paid very large sums of money just to arrive here on the promise of a better place to live. Others have been to the UK or other European countries and have decided to travel to Ireland because they believe it will be a better place for them to pursue their asylum application. So, for those who try to portray all asylum seekers as those fleeing war and persecution, they're simply not telling the truth. But then there's the other side of it. Those who portray asylum seekers as mainly opportunists, and some of the awful language we hear, they're also not telling the truth. And part of the problem around asylum seeking is that people put themselves in one camp or the other. I'm right and you're wrong. You're wrong, I'm right. And that leads to so many negative outcomes. It splits communities and it engenders anger, which can lead to hatred. And Minister, I'm afraid we're drifting towards a situation where we're being told that good people are those who welcome all asylum seekers, regardless of whether they are genuine asylum seekers or not. And then the others, and there are many in that group, are pushed and they're told they're right-wing, they're far-right, or the latest one is populist right. Many of those people want a robust, firm and fair asylum system, and a smaller number are those who oppose all asylum seekers, and then there's lots of shades in between. But all of them seem to be lumped into a group of what we might call the deplorables. And I don't think we can make progress in this way. I think we have to find a middle ground with a rules-enforced system. But equally, we can't make progress with a government that I believe has basically lost control of the asylum procedure, because that adds to the pressure and it builds up to intolerable levels, as we have seen on Mount Street and other communities throughout the country. Now, last week in the Justice Committee, Minister, you were there, I was there, and you revealed that approximately 80% of asylum seekers are now coming across the border. I was the person who then asked you the question regarding the current agreement in place with the UK, whether you had actually sent back anybody to the UK under that agreement. And your response to me was precisely, I don't have that information to hand. Yet it turns out now, according to newspaper reports, and I believe what you and the Taoiseach have said, that nobody has been returned under that agreement. Now, that agreement is in place since 2000. Now, I know it wasn't always 80% that are coming across the border, but even if it was 8%, Minister, if that system was working, if it was operational, you would have ensured some people were quite rightly returned. We hear this lame excuse of COVID. COVID finished nearly 2 years ago. The court decision wasn't until March 2024. What was supposed to happen in most of 22, all of 23 and part of 24 to operationalise that agreement? Nothing happened. Nobody was sent back. My colleague Michael McNamara raised the issue of Dublin 3, where he talked about the comparison between the tiny numbers going back from Ireland, 2 in 2022, over 4,000 in Germany. So that displays, I have to say it, an astonishing level of incompetence in enacting and enforcing the legislation in place, the agreements that are in place. And Minister, you're asking us now to sign into a pact when you are not doing the business. We can't trust you.
Violet and Wynne, 2 minutes.